the Ben Cooper Costume Kids Collection, featuring Creature, Devil, Frankenstein, Mummy, and Skeleton. Each figure styled with an iconic Ben Cooper costume and mask. Bring home the all-new Ben Cooper Costume Kids Collection. Each figure comes with a mask, costume, and accessory for trick-or-treating. Each sold separately. New from NECA.
It is 10 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm Robo. This is the Weekly Rewind. Let's kick into this episode with a little Hasbro Marvel Legends news that we already knew about. The Madripoor Wolverine and Lady Mandarin 2-pack was shown in a live stream back in December. I had to think about that. Is it January? What year is this? 2024? Yeah, it's so long ago. But pre-orders open this week, so there's pretty promotional pictures to look at, to gander, to deep dive on. Because it's Marvel, it's X-Men, that's steak and potatoes. I love this stuff. Really though, there's nothing too awful surprising here. The boys did a good job of showing at least most of the promotional pictures during that live stream. Bigger Pictures do the Logan portraits a world of good though. I know he's not supposed to be the prettiest guy in the world, but we've kind of been slogging through some super ugly head sculpts over the past few years. It's nice to get some ruggedly handsome Wolverines. Rough around the edges, you do a double take if that's your type. Oh. I still wish one of the heads had the pantyhose mask. That is very iconic to this costume. But at the same time, I can't complain about having an extra Logan head sculpt that I could put somewhere else on another Wolverine figure to spruce it up. Because as we all know, there are more than enough Wolverines to use it on. So many Wolverines, and so many left to go. I still have a wish list. And that's all I have to say about this set. Moving on. You know I'm joking. There's also Lady Mandarin. This wasn't even a blip on my most wanted X-Men list. So for me, it's just kind of like, well, if I want that Logan, I've got to get this figure. But at the same time, I know that I don't speak for everyone. There's people who wanted this, so have at it. There you go. Maybe I'm extra salty because it's a double whammy for me. When this first leaked, I thought, you know what? That should be the Outback Armored Psylocke. I psyched myself up, and higher up, farther the fall. But I have had time to sit, to stare, to agree with other people's opinions that this may be a good base body for Deathbird. So that's a silver lining. If I can get more X-Men characters due to reuse of figures that they're gonna release anyway, then more power to them. I know it's not perfect, but Googling Deathbird and my own memories of her, I don't believe she wore the same costume twice, appearance to appearance. Plus there would be a spectacular symmetry of this Psylocke giving us Deathbird, and then hopefully the Lilandra that comes in another Wolverine 2-pack gives us that armored Outback Psylocke. Just, isn't that pretty? That's just beautiful. From one ML toy line to another ML toy line, the 4 Horsemen Mythic Legions Rising Suns pre-order window closes this weekend. So I thought, you know what? Why not? I don't usually cover Mythic Legions because good gravy. There are so many releases out there. And when something new pops up, it's a whole crew of figures. It's a whole group. It's a slew of figures. It can be daunting. It can be intimidating, especially to someone who doesn't collect the line. So it's like, whoa, look at... Is that reuse? Is that not reuse? Is that... Plus I have to stand here and say all these names, which is crazy when you start looking at them in text form. I just stare and go, are those consonants supposed to be beside each other? How does that even work? It's like they just go, okay, we got a new round of Mythic Legions. What are we gonna name all these characters? That works. No, needs more apostrophes. But there is something that catches my eye. Look at that bear. Oh, boo-boo. We talked about this in a live stream a while back. That's how much it caught my eye. I said I don't talk about Mythic Legions, but when this popped up, it was like, okay, we gotta talk about this bear. Because when you think about it, at least in the past, animals have always been kind of difficult to get in action figure form, especially super articulated, or at least adequately articulated action figures. But they have been getting better. The G.I. Joe companions spring to mind because those have been absolutely amazing. And then some of the Mythic Legions offerings when it comes to animals. I've been tempted by their horses and their mooses. Moosin. I saw a flock of moosin. There were many of them, many much moosin. But the bear may top it all because we just don't have enough bears in our action figure collections. As for the rest of the wave, it's very Mythic Legions. Like I said, as someone on the outside staring in, if any of these figures rode by on a galloping horse, it would still be... Yeah, that was a Mythic Legions figure, wasn't it? Good thing there's a horse in this wave, and it's pretty awesome. You can go from kind of a... because it's black and has the spikes... an evil unicorn. I should have probably read the bio thing that came with it, but you can remove that and just have a black horse if you want to. The rest of the wave consists of Atlas the Conqueror 2 and Scapular the Crypt Breaker 2, who do seem familiar. And no, it's not because they have a 2 in their name. The looks here kind of trigger a memory of some kind, like I've seen these characters before, which again is Mythic Legions-y. But there's an extra layer to these. And okay, there is the number 2 in both their names. So I'm fairly sure that these characters have appeared before in some kind of Mythic Legions action figure line. I am confident. Fairly confident. Pretty confident. There's Despatar and Manisha Cinderhorn and Neve. No, I'm not reading these with their apostrophes and their extra consonants all stuffed together. Because there's also Yoshina... okay, I give up. I don't know why I let you guys peer pressure me into talking about Mythic Legions. I can't take it. Oh, I remember another big draw for me with this wave. The Exiles Under the Mountain. These are just fantastic looking dwarves. Regarion double N. Come on, Ford. Give me a break. This also catches my eye. I missed the Minotaurs way back in the day, so this feels like a second chance. Maybe I do need a Minotaur on my shelf somewhere. That and the sculpt is so good that you can... This is gonna sound weird, but you can smell it. You city folk are probably side-eyeing the screen right now, but if you've ever trekked through a cow field or been to a county fair, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You smell it, don't you? I know it sounds weird. I say it out loud and it's like, what the hell am I talking? But no, you do. Look at it. All in all, Mythic Legions Rising Suns wave. If you are interested at all, you need to jump on it now because, like I said, pre-orders close this weekend. It was 2 long weeks ago that McFarlane Toys teased their DC Multiverse Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice Batman. I say it like that because usually by now we would have the full solicitation laid out in front of us. Hell, some of us would probably have shipping notices already, but no. We're just now getting another pretty promotional shot with the mood lighting and everything. But it is another Batman figure, so there's gotta be some pomp and circumstance. They're doing great with the cinematic Batmans. I expect more of the same here. To make up for it, they dropped the whole DC Multiverse Crisis on Infinite Earths wave this week. Kid Flash is okay for what it is. It's multiverse. And you knew it would use the same kind of buff body they've been using for all the Wests so far. At least I think all the Wests. There's been a few Kid Flashes, hasn't there? Wally, Wallace, some others. Still, the classic yellow and red is always nice. Raise your hand if you thought we were going to get Psycho Pirate in DC Multiverse anytime soon. Crazy. I think Mattel did him in a smaller scale, but it was DC Direct that I had standing in my DC Universe Classics display, so it's been a while. Not a lot of sculpted detail, but the costume design itself makes for an interesting figure here. Spectre does get extra sculpted detail, including the skin texture, and it makes it even better because this Spectre looks amazing. Well, okay, it's your DC Multiverse proportions. The head does look kind of sunk down a little bit, and of course there's the limb length, but to fit this on the shelf with the rest of DC Multiverse, it's gonna stand. Oh, that white, that green, fantastic. Plus the shading over the eyes, the drape of the hood, the star filled on the inside. Is that what that is? At first I thought it was paint scuffing off the body onto, or scrapes in the cape itself, but no, I think that is supposed to be a star field. The positives outweigh the negatives here because really it's kind of hidden behind the figure. Everything else is in the forefront. Earth 2 Superman's downfalls are a little harder to ignore though. First, the body is just right. The colors, the silhouette, the proportions. Okay, I know what you're looking at. Those elbow hinges are huge. And I'm guessing the knees are the same way, but we can't see them in any of the pictures they provide. It's always hidden by the cape or, you know, as the back of knees tend to be, on the back. But the other big talking point is the head. Who is this guy, and why is he judging your decisions at Thanksgiving? I know Earth 2 Superman is supposed to be older, aged, and even grumpier at some points, but this does not fit any of the mental images I have of the character. The big test is to zoom all the way in on that head, and if this was the only thing we were shown, would you have guessed that this is Earth 2 Superman? I mean, if you had been told DC Multiverse, the slight graying to the temples may... Oh, and then I guess the curl too, you would have went, this is some kind of Superman. Earth 2 Superman? Really? As we've seen with all Supermans, so close. So close. Because I didn't mention the cloth cape either, did I? But still not quite there. I think the Build-A-Monitor is the star here. It's just a nice looking sculpt. It's intricate. It looks like the Monitor. That's a biggie. And the way I think of the Monitor, you could use this in any display. If you want to put it over with your 1/12 scale collection, it fits there. But it also fits on your multiverse shelf. Saying that though, it's the Build-A, so you can't just grab it. And that is a big sticking point for the price. This is Gold Label, exclusive to McFarlane's own online toy store. That already means shipping is a factor, but to go there and see that they are $39.99 a piece, it's kinda... What the hell's going on? Now I get it, prices have been going up and it's been affecting McFarlane too. We see the collector's editions at $29.99, but to jump $10 more than that? That is a leap. It doesn't help that the Build-A Mr. Freeze Batman and Robin wave just came out for $24.99 a piece. The bundle price at $135 is a little better, knocks them down to $33 something each, but still, why the jump? Well, McFarlane's own reply to social media may give us an idea of their thinking behind the price jump. This is a limited edition Build-A-Figure wave and is a Gold Label exclusive to the McFarlane Toys store. Okay, so what you're saying is that it's exclusive, it's limited, so you have every right to jack the price up on your own toy store. You set that limitedness on yourself, and then because it's so limited, you raise the price $15 higher than your last Build-A-Wave because of the exclusivity that you put on yourself. Somebody on the Discord did bring up that it may be a wave that was supposed to go to another retailer, but they backed out, so it's falling back on McFarlane, and they just, well, why wouldn't they try to blow it out to get it out of the way to save warehouse space or something? Instead, the price goes up? This price point is not necessarily indicative of pricing for regular production lines. Okay, that's a good thing to say, to point out that the standard releases are not going to go up to this price. But there is some loopholiness there. Necessarily indicative. It's almost like, well, you're not going to see the standard releases go up this high, but there could be a price hike, which again, we all expect over time. We don't like it, but $15. I mean, that is quite the bundle price with 10% discount code is $24.30 per figure. You can apply coupon code MTS10 for the 10% off to reflect this price. It took me a minute to figure this math out because I was like, no, even with 10% off, 4 figures would still be 30 some odd dollars. Then I realized they're counting the Build-A-Figure. 5 figures at that price would be $24.30. Now, this has always been a arguing point for the community over the years. Is the Build-A-Pieces bonuses? Are they extras, or are they in with the pricing? And I kind of fall in between. I know that they aren't just accessories. They've got extra engineering, they got articulation, so that goes into the production budget. The production budget affects the bottom line, the final price at retail. And McFarlane has been doing a good job of offering the standard figures without Build-A-Figure pieces for a cheaper price than the Build-A-Waves. In fact, that's something I wish other companies would do. But that extra figure doesn't get a vote when you're breaking down the total price on the retail side. You are still getting 4 items. So you can't just buy that Build-A-Figure by itself. If you could, then yeah, 5 figures, there you go, in that price. But you don't. You have to get the 4 figures to get the 5th. So 4 items for this price. I feel like I'm a crazy person, or this isn't coming out right, or I've worked myself up and I can't explain it correctly. For some, it's 4 items for this price. End of the day, I think the statement did a lot more harm than good, because it comes off as it's our exclusive. We can do what we want. Despite all that, the Spectre sold out fast. So never count out hardcore collectors. They gonna get what they want, and they don't care what they gotta pay to get it. And they're just gonna buy their item and move along. They're not gonna be on social media going, hey, why? Just why? Because it's hardcore collectors that also sustain the third-party market. I know that's not the greatest segue, but I'm trying my best here. Then again, there's usually a lot more going for figures like this. Soft goods, extra articulation, accessory count, etc. Don't get me wrong, I love my domestic toys, but I also dig a good-looking import like this Present Toys X Power Toys Shadow Armor. It took me several times to say that. Present Toys X Power Toys. It seems awkward. I have no intention of buying this, but I can appreciate the hell out of it from afar. You know, I can do some window shopping. Oh, look at that. That's awesome. And some of these pictures, if I didn't know any better, I'd think I was looking at movie stills. Oh, and the LED feature in the head, pretty damn sweet. There is a pre-order gift of the Kryptonite Spear that looks like it has some glow to it. If you like your Bruce a little more battered and bloody, there's also the battle damaged version for the same price. Well, I say it like that because it's the same amount of figure, just with some different sculpted parts and pieces here and there. Here, the LED is still a nice feature in the one eye, but the exposed face is also very, very impressive. I mean, it was impressive with the full cowl, with just the mouth showing, but you get some eye in there, and it's even better. I don't usually go for battle damaged, but I think I prefer that one over the other one. And again, I'm not buying either of them. Who knew that Bravestar would warrant the amount of third-party releases that it has in the past year or so? 6 months? Okay, not releases, pre-orders, but almost releases. I didn't think that, but then again, as I've said several times, I don't think I've ever seen a Bravestar cartoon or commercial. All I had as a kid was that gun, that laser tag type thing where this was the blaster and the sensor was on bottom and it had the 2 cartridges. It's just tough. Beyond that, I've seen way more of this character as an adult than I ever did as a child. This week, Dasin Toy showed their Sheriff, and my first thought was, I gotta get these pictures side by side with the Ramen Toy Marshall. Again, not being familiar with the ins and outs of this character design, I can look at these and just go, that's Bravestar. Oh, yep, and that's Bravestar too. But I do like that the aesthetics are drastically different. Okay, drastic may be a little much, but they are different. The Ramen Marshall has a lot of detail and seems to be an older, wiser version of the character. The Dasin Sheriff, on the other hand, is a smoother sculpt with young, fresh, out of the academy swagger to it. To put it in Mattel terms, the Ramen Marshall is Masters of the Universe Classics, and the Dasin Sheriff is Masters of the Universe Origins, just with way more articulation in play. 2 different styles, 2 different options for collectors. And I didn't mean to turn this into full-on comparison, but you still have time to make a decision between the 2, so I thought, might as well put them side by side, right? I can't speak to how good Dasin toys are. I haven't messed with anything since 2018 with their Tom and Jerry set, and that was kind of loosey-goosey. It was fun because it was Tom and Jerry, but there was also some frustration. From what I can glean from comments around the net, they're pretty good figures, but scale kind of Figma size. That's to say true 1/12 scale. They run a little small if you want to shove it into a Legends display, but I'm looking at it thinking, I wonder what this would look like on a Star Wars shelf. Then Super7 had to show up and remind me that even though I did watch a cartoon, I apparently didn't watch near as much as I thought I did. Oh, I watched more than enough to still be diving in nostalgia waters to this day, but then they go and show their ThunderCats Ultimates quick pick, and did I even watch ThunderCats past the first few episodes? Granted, I've felt this way for a while now, but you get to Series 10, and you're bound to have robot Robin Hood grasshoppers showing up. Characters that are more towards the outskirts of the main cast, you know? And if they hadn't labeled Snarfer, I would have thought, well, there's another Snarf already. That was awful quick. Comes with some different accessories and stuff, but okay, I guess. I didn't even remember he had a nephew. I remember Uncle Montork and Driel, but I don't remember Snarfer. I guess I did watch way less ThunderCats. Because I know Mum-Ra, but I don't remember the Dream Master version of Mum-Ra. Let me guess, it was some evil plot to infiltrate the ThunderCats' dreams and tear them apart from within, set them against each other. Rah! I will say it looks fantastic in translucent plastic. There's just something about that clearness. Young Lion-O rounds out the wave, and this totally works because after the talk of the tease where the sword was up on the viney blue thing, my brain and a lot of other people's brains went to those early appearances of the ThunderCats where they weren't wearing any clothes. It's not like junk was hanging out or anything, but when you go back and watch those, you think, well, it makes sense. They're covered in fur, but then they put clothes on as soon as they get to another planet. Don't try to rationalize 80s cartoons. Although now that I think about it, that would be another way to get the main cast out to headline future waves. So, ThunderCats are loose! If you order the whole way from Super7 themselves, you get the super exclusive bonus pack of alternate heads for all 4 characters, mostly with open mouths or gritting teeth, except for Lizard, Pirate, Pinchy guy. I don't know how that head is different from the 3 that comes with the figure. Maybe smiling? Is he smiling? I don't know. Neat additions if you're all in anyway, but not necessary if you're just cherry picking. That's all fine and dandy, but the big surprise this week was Dungeons & Dragons Ultimates Wave 1. Of course! I just finished my Hasbro set at clearance prices. I waited on Series 2 just because, but I'm finished with the core team, and then ba-boom. That's okay. Just because I'm not committed to something doesn't mean I can't ramble about it, especially when it's another childhood property. Like the Hasbro series, there is some creative license going on. It doesn't look like they just jumped right off the screen. Don't get me wrong. There is a lot of accuracy here, but they've been ultimatized. Is that what we're calling it? There's a little extra detail to the hair, the face, almost CGI Dungeons & Dragons cartoon, but still pre-2000. Yeah, I've been showing Hank and Sheila this whole time. You see what I'm talking about. I wonder if there's going to be a clear plastic version of Sheila, though, at some point. It's got to be an exclusive to Big Bad Toy Store or someone else. At first, I thought Hank's bow was stuck with the bowstring and there wasn't a regular version, and I was like, no, that's his whole thing. That's how we played Dungeons & Dragons when I was a kid. You pick up a stick, you got a bow. You can just pull midair energy out and... But looking closer, there are openings on the string, so that's removable, which they plainly showed in the group shot if I had slowed down and paid attention. There's the bow, no string. That group shot shows the rest of the wave, and again, maybe I didn't watch cartoons past the few first episodes as a general rule or something, because I do not remember Dekion? Googling pics, again, the sculpt is a bit more detailed than what we saw in the cartoon, but that's okay, that's Ultimates. It's still a big, cool-looking skeleton warrior. That may be able to fit in with my Hasbro display. Maybe. I'm thinking that's even more possible for the Shadow Demons. Have one hanging out with Venger and then have one just causing general havoc in other places or something. Or have it waiting for an Ultimates Venger along with the rest of the main cast. I know there was some bad news this week with Super7 and everybody has their own thoughts on that matter, but when it comes to this line, it's Hasbro related and they seem to have a stronger relationship with Hasbro. So, I saw these up for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse, so there's more marketing involved here. Plus, it's only 3 waves. At the least. They do 2 main cast here, 2 main cast, 2 main cast, and then fill out the rest of the waves. 3 waves, get them out there, get them done, and then somebody, for the love of everything Dungeony and Dragony, can we get a Tiamat from somebody? Since I've mentioned Hasbro about 500 times this episode, let's stay in that ballpark with the Threezero Transformers MDLX Skywarp. We knew this was coming when they announced Starscream. I mean, that's just in the Transformers handbook. In the first few pages. When you get Starscream, you're going to get repaints of the other Seekers. And Starscream looks damn impressive, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to go out on a limb and proclaim that this figure looks even better in Skywarp colors. The blacks, the purples, so sleek, so sexy. One of my main gripes with the Starscream promo pics were the null rays being black. Here, oh, it fits right into the design. I know they should be purple to be completely accurate to most of Skywarp's appearances, but them being black does not hurt this design whatsoever. And really, there's nothing wrong with the black cannons on Starscream, but it felt like another color just thrown into the grays and the reds and the blues. This doesn't. It blends right in. It goes right along with the flow. But like I said, this is a repaint, so it comes with all the same accessories, like the knives, which was a surprise when I saw them with Starscream, and there I justified it as, well, it's Starscream. He's gonna be stabbing Decepticons in the back. It completely works. But now that I see him again, and I've had more time to sit with the Starscream pictures, look at the feet. The feet, along with the knives, give these figures kind of a bird of prey feel. There's talons, there's blades. It works. It's something I never really thought about when it comes to the Seekers, but now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. Even when I look back on the G1 stuff, it'll be like, Falcons, Eagles. There is one unique item here. Since Skywarp is the prankster of the crew, Threezero threw in another faceplate with a full-on laughing face. That's to go along with the existing serious and smirking faces. Is Skywarp my favorite Seeker? I know I've thought about this before. I had to have. You know how it is. You see new toys, you start thinking, well, okay, that black, that purple. I think he is. But then again, I also like Thundercracker's colors a whole lot. And look, they're teasing him in one of the pictures, so look forward to that in the future. Otherwise, it's Threezero MDLX Transformers. You know they're good. It's classic G1 designs with a heap and helping of modern aesthetics. The added articulation, the die cast, the overall look. These are mind-blowingly good. If you haven't laid hands upon one of these, I recommend getting at least one. Unless you're a non-transforming Transformer hater. Then you'll just have to settle for the other 600 lines of transforming Transformers. Sorry. And that's all I got for this week. Up to this point as I'm recording this. Today is January 12th, 1/12, and Mezco has announced that they're gonna be doing some kind of reveals, some kind of something later today. But I'm recording early morning because I have things to do this afternoon. So I'm recording, I'm editing, I'm posting to Patreon, and then getting out the door for a little bit. Something that caught my eye this week, people were talking about the names of the show, you know, the Weekly Rewind. And I named it that simply because we're rewinding to some of the news items over the past 7 days, you know, on a weekly basis. The Weekly Rewind. But then somebody had to go and point out that RWND is Robo's weekly news drop. Y'all are way smarter, way more clever at this than I am. I just get up here and blah, 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 and then Y'all are awesome. I am messing with the format a little bit. I didn't need an opening. I figure most people skip over the openings most of the time to get to the stuff, so it's just going to be, you know, the video, the commercial or whatever at the first, the intro, and then boom, right into the news, and then we'll do the rambling at the end if there's anything important, or if I'm pissed off about something or not pissed off about something, or upcoming shows, or lack of news, or too much news. We'll tack it on at the end back here, where I'm just like, yep, here we are, together again, talking about action figures on a Saturday. As always, extra special thanks to my patrons, and then Big Bad Toy Store for sponsoring some videos. There's going to be more of that in the upcoming weeks. I have the Marvel Legends Void Wave that I'm cracking open, recording slowly, do some editing, come back, record some stuff, go back and forth. It's more fun that way. That's how my grandpappy did it. That's how my pappy did it. And that's how I do it. So, be kind. Rewind.